Hello, hello. So let us begin with Nash study streak for 22nd May. All right. So we will be live. So let us continue with Nash therapeutics study streak for 22nd of May 2025, and we have completed almost 50, 60 odd remedies from leaders in homeopathic therapeutics by Dr. Nash. Why is this book important and why is it ignored by all the homeopaths? This should be a question which should make you worried. Firstly, we are all resorting to one or two books for our references when a patient appears in our clinic. Secondly, we are not referring the books that are original masterpieces which have led as a beacon for all the homeopaths later on, or generation of homeopaths rather. And Dr. Nash's book, Leaders in Homeopathic Therapeutic, is one of the books which will have everything that you need in the book, whether it is materia medica, philosophy, uh, potency, repetition. It is just in very much small details, but it is enough for a homeopath to practice and clinically see the patients. Clinical examination also in some remedies, poisoning reports also, and most importantly, cures. That is one of the important things. When you read a materia medica, you just have the materia medica information of the remedy, but you don't know how this has acted. Dr. Nash gives you that as well. So today we'll take up the remedy Baraita Carb for our learning from leaders in homeopathic therapeutics. And what does Dr. Nash tell us? That this is one of the leading anti-scrofulous remedy. And also Dr. Nash tells us to go back and refer to sulfur. He has written extensively about sulfur in the same book, Leaders in Homeopathic Therapeutics, few pages before Baraita Carb, which is the remedy we are discussing today. And he tells us that just like Baraita carb, sulfur, these remedies are anti-scrofulous and will go deep in the system and the economy to correct the disorders which have been passed down from generations. Baraita carb is suited to complaints of dwarfish children, mind and body weak, they don't grow, inclined to glandular swellings and defective growth, which is physical and mental. So we know about all these things from various materia medica. But what is special in Nash therapeutics and leaders in homeopathic therapeutics is that he gives comparison of how Baraita carb is, compared to Cilicia, Calcarea, Natramure, Anacardium. In just 2 or 3 pages of data, you will find just one liners to differentiate between this remedy and the other remedies. And that is what is clinically important for a homeopath, because when he sits in the clinic, he does not have time to click on this button and look into this app and that book and etc. You just need to have clearness of thought, clarity of mind, to differentiate clinically what is there. So we'll see in leaders in homeopathic therapeutics what Dr. Nash tells about Baraita carb and Silesia and Calcarea carb, the major points of differences. For Baraita carb, he says that there is weakness of mind which can amount to idiocy or imbecility. Now you have to understand the words between the lines. It amounts to idiocy or imbecility. The relatives may complain that there is some act done by the patient which is of foolish nature. Or in the clinic, you will see that the person, behaves in a very childish way or imbecile or idiotic way. That could point. Sometimes, if the patients are compensated, if you read The Spirit of Homeopathy by Dr. Sankaran, you will see that patients would be compensated and non-compensated, uncompensated cases. And most of the uncompensated cases will exhibit the symptoms of the remedy directly, but compensated cases, especially those who are working in corporates or those who are cultured or brought up in certain way, may not exhibit the typical features of a remedy and may just tell you that everything is fine. I'm spiritually so enlightened. I have nothing to tell anything more about apart from this complaint. Now, when you see that this complaint is there, you have to find out what is the sphere of action and since how long this has been dragging on. There are many ways in which you will reach Baraita Cup. One of the ways is that there is thoughtless behavior, childishness, and adapted to old people with mental and physical weakness. And there is a feeble tottering gait which you will see when the patient enters your clinic. Now, this is a very broad differentiation, but going further, Dr. Nash gives us a comparison of Baraita with anacardium, which will also have loss of memory. Uh, Baraita is also compared with silica, abrotanum, natramure, sulfur, and calcarea and iodine, which have marasmus, which is infantile or senile. So, anytime in your clinic, whenever you see a patient, either a child or a geriatric case, who is very much thin, emaciated, think of the remedies Baraita, silica, abrotanum, natramine, sulfur, and calcarea, and iodine. And then the physical generals will point you to the right remedy which will be in the from the different materia medica. It can be from Nash, it can be from Lippis redline keynotes which Dr. Nash used to refer, or from Allen's keynotes as well, or from boric materia medica as well. So Baraita carb will have some features of the other remedies also, and the other remedies may have the features of Baraita carb. The only point of differentiation will be that the patient would be very much idiotic or foolish in behavior or childish in behavior. He may ask you a question which is very much childish in nature, or he may behave or act in certain way which may predict or indicate that the patient is mostly like a child. So going further, Dr. Nash tells us that all these remedies, silica, abrotanum, natramure, sulfur, calcarea, iodine, all the remedies have emaciation of the body and the abdomen is enlarged. And all the remedies also have voracious appetite and they grow poor in health all the time. There is defective assimilation. But he goes on further to tell us that Baraita and silica are very close. How are they very close? There is offensive sweat of the feet. Head is disproportionate. Weather changes affect both the remedies. both have sensitivity about the head, and silica has profuse sweat of the head equal to calcarea carb. Calcarea carb may have less, but baryta carb does not have the profuse sweat of the head. So imagine this physical characteristic will clinch in favor of baryta or silica or calcarea, the profuse sweat of the head. So you need to ask physical generals and physical particulars to patients to understand what is the thermal of the patient and accordingly decide the remedy. That is what Dr. Nash tells us all through his book, Leaders in Homeopathic Therapeutics. And if you are wise enough, you will not stick to a particular method, you will not stick to something which is based upon interpretation, something which is direct and sure, which is physical general. You can rely on it and excel in your practice using that as a parameter. The Baraita carb remedy we all know, and just a repetition from Dr. Nash Therapeutics that its action is strong on the glandular system. There is a strong affinity for throat, especially tonsils. They are great, suppurate, and they are greatly inflamed, suppurate by the least exposure to cold. And there is chronic cough in children with enlarged tonsils. Now you need to observe this sentence very clearly because uh, Dr. Nash tells us about not being able to find success in cases of coughs alone when Parataka was employed. So Dr. Hitesh is with us on live and he's telling that Baraita is routinist, more routinist than calcarea and silicate. I can much more agree to your point because they adapt themselves to certain systems and they know that this system works best and nothing else is going to work for them. It is going to be run of the mill all the time, nothing out of the box. This is what the latest authors, if you read Shorten's Minerals and Dr. Sankaran's books, Dr. Vijaykar's books, you will see that these are the remedies. Baraita Kav is a remedy which will not go out of the way and do anything. They will be more routinistic, which is what we see small prompt from Dr. Hitesh and very nice prompt which is practically more useful for us. So we are at this streak of studying Nash therapeutic study streak, and Baraita is the remedy we discussed today. The last line what Dr. Nash mentions is that tonsillitis acute or chronic from suppressed foot sweat can be treated by Baraita. That's all we see practically, clinically, and something which is going to help you in your clinics in for the everyday homeopath. We'll bring from the Homeo Setu stable, and that's what you need to do. Keep following Homeo Setu on Instagram, Facebook. There is some interesting announcement coming very soon, and I hope you are all eyes on the channel and the information we keep on spreading. Thank you all for joining, and thank you for staying tuned to the live till the end.